friends, my name is Dasha. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my new apartment. Today I'm going to be setting up these two bad boys. So I have already filmed the process of me getting all my books out of boxes, setting them up, and I'm going to go over what's on each shelf and kind of how I organize my books. It will be timestamped down below, so if you don't want to watch like a speed montage of me putting everything up on the shelf and losing my mind, you can just skip forward to that where I kind of show you what's on each shelf and just how I organize my books. Nothing really fancy, but I always love seeing how people put books together and like what's the thought process. So I thought I would film it. I finally have my own place and my books are now like front and center and I love them so much. So I wanted to show you how I basically set this place up. So I hope you enjoy. With me, I'm done. This is what the shelves look like. So we're gonna quickly go over and I'll show you kind of how I organized it. Okay, so over on this shelf, I have my classics at the top. I've kind of organized them a little bit like by size and what they are. So like I put F. Scott Fitzgerald with F. Scott Fitzgerald. I put all my Shakespeare together. I put my two Oxford classics together. And then the ones on this end are kind of by size and they're all kind of part of the same collection, so they just fit the best there. And surprisingly, all my classics fit on that one shelf. And then this here is my nonfiction shelf. I wanted this one to kind of be more front and center because I want to look intellectual. But also they just kind of, there's a lot of them and they all kind of fit very well there. Most of this is history. I put kind of my non-history ones at a slightly other place because I was running a lot out of space. But these are mostly history nonfiction, and there's a few other random ones in there. And I'm also missing a few. I think my mom borrowed one, and I have some that's on the way to me, so that will probably change. Down here is what was supposed to be my favorites shelf, so I'd put like A Song of Ice and Fire and Circe, but then as you probably saw, there was a lot of chaos and I couldn't figure out what would go here. So I ended up sticking some of my manga and a few other random books that just kind of didn't fit. So there's some horror and literary fiction there too, but my goal was kind of just to keep fiction with fiction, which is why at least it's it's not like too chaotic in my mind. I don't love it, but it's probably gonna change anyways. I'm gonna get more manga. It'll float around probably. So down here I have some of my Stephen King as well as a bunch of fantasy. The reason I put all that fantasy together is because honestly, the books are almost all the same height, so it just kind of made sense. And then obviously I put like V. Schwab with V. Schwab. I put N.K. Jemisin with N.K. Jemisin, and then the two at the end, the reason there's like a hardcover with all the paperback is because it's they're both Cat Howard books. And then it's just kind of a catch-all shelf because as you saw, it was kind of a struggle to get shit to all be in the same genre on the same shelf, so that's why it's kind of a mix of genres, but at least like I said, it's all fiction. And then down here I just have some old Russian books that I'm not getting rid of. I have like school yearbooks, notebooks, random stuff that just kind of fits best at the bottom. Your eye isn't drawn there anyway, so it's not too important what's down there. Up here I have a bit more of that nonfiction I was talking about. So this is stuff that kind of didn't fit into the like history category. It's books that I'm not really in love with either. They're just kind of a bit out of the way because the other shelf is more prominent. So I have some old travel books that I just picked up over the years. I have some of my cookbooks because they don't fit in my kitchen. It's really small. I have some random books that just didn't quite fit on that. And I even have like my Fatherland, Nightingale, and Alice Network, which are all historical fiction, which I don't read much of. So they're kind of relegated to this back shelf. And then here I have most of my unread adult fantasy. So I would have loved to put these front and center because like I can't wait to read them, but I haven't read them yet, except for The Night Circus, Red Rising, and Every Heart a Doorway. So I thought I'd kind of stick them here. There's some sci-fi mixed in there as well. And they always just look nice together, you know, it's a fantasy sci-fi shelf, it makes sense. And then down here is the young adult version of that. So most of these on this shelf are read. This shelf below here is a lot of unread stuff. And I just thought I'd kind of keep it to similar genres. Here it doesn't matter like as much. Like I said, this shelf is kind of the out of the way shelf. So in terms of organization, I just kind of went by size and series, that kind of thing. And then down here I go a little bit by author because I have like, you know, my John Green is with the John Green more or less, all my contemporaries off that side, and then my unread books, and then a few read books. It doesn't matter too much. And then we got some textbooks and random notebooks and binders and that kind of crap. So I tried to keep stuff that like you don't really want people seeing a bit more out of the way because obviously we still want to keep them, but like they're not as pretty and it's not stuff I reach for as often as I would books, especially because of YouTube. So that was kind of the reasoning, and especially like I said, this shelf is a little bit more, it's tossed in the corner. It's not as visible as the other shelf. The other shelf is a lot more visible from the dining room and like when you enter the apartment. So I thought I'd keep some books that I either don't care about as much or just don't really want front and center. They're not like my favorites. I kept those to this shelf. So that was kind of the logic. And yeah, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you liked seeing all the crap I have on my shelves because there's a lot more than I thought. My social media is linked down below. You guys can always come talk to me there. And other than that, I will see you in the next one. Bye!